Alright, how's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about Markov chains. So let's say you're a meteorologist and you're trying to find the chance of it being cloudy tomorrow. So you know that today is sunny and you're trying to find the probability that tomorrow is cloudy. So if you look at this diagram, you can see that sunny is represented by this red ball and cloud is represented by this blue ball. And the probability between them is 0.3, which is 30%. So this diagram essentially represents the states of being sunny, cloudy, and rainy, and all the probabilities that happen when you either transfer from one state to another or when the state stays the same. This is an example of a Markov chain, and they're good to explain the probabilities that happen between events. So here we have a Markov chain of weather conditions. We can also have Markov chains of stock markets, and we can also have Markov chains of restaurant food orders. So what is a Markov chain? So a Markov chain is a model that can predict a future event based on a previous event. So this is very useful for many applications when you're trying to predict future events based on current events. These Markov chains have a couple of properties. One of them is that a future event can only be affected by a previous event. So let's say one of your event is the weather. It should only be affected by the event of yesterday, which is the weather of yesterday. There shouldn't be any chain of events that lead up to a certain weather, or else that will break the property of the Markov chain diagram. Another property of Markov chain is that the probabilities from one state adds up to 1. So as you know, the probabilities of an event needs to add up to 1. If it doesn't, that means there's some conditions that are missing that aren't explained by the Markov chain, and therefore the chain will be incomplete and we won't be able to use it to predict future events. The types of Markov chains. So there are two types of Markov chains. One is called transient, the other is called recurrent. So if you look at this diagram, you can see two of the chains labeled T. So for this one, the transient one is when the probability of returning it to it is not 1. So if you go around the T state diagram, you'll notice that there's a small chance that it'll escape to another R state. So since the probability of returning is not 1, therefore that's a transient state. And the other state is called the recurrent state. So for example, if you look at the left part of the diagram, this from S, it will always come back to S. So this chain is a recurrent chain because it will always come back. The probability of being returned is 1. It's guaranteed to always come back to the chain. Alright, so those are some introduction to the topic of Markov chain. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe, and have a nice day.